What is the most unusual camping experience you have ever had? You're listening to the RV Life Podcast. I'm Dan Hunt with my incredible wife, Patty Hunt. And I'm going to tell you that we have had some incredible and unusual camping experiences this year. One of them was at a loofah farm. Who knew loofahs, you know those things you use in the bath shower? They grow on vines. And we were at a ranch in Tennessee where we witnessed the birth of a longhorn calf. There are so many incredible things to do and see across the U.S. And today we're going to explore some unique camping experiences, not just of ours, but the experiences you can have as well.
Dan and I have been exploring this great country for over 2.5 years. We are full-time, and we have had some incredible experiences. As Dan has said, there are things that we never thought of that we've done in the last 2 years and can't wait to see what's coming next.
Now that sound means it's time for today's fun fact.
And it's brought to you by Open Road Resorts. And they have 4 amazing locations. One is in Dallas or near Dallas. The other 3, Dan and I cannot wait to get to. They're in the Montana, Utah area near Yellowstone. And they just sound incredible. So we've already booked our time to be there and cannot wait.
Now, today's fun fact is absolutely unbelievable. We've talked about some of these facts earlier or before on the RV Life Podcast, but this one is just out of control. 61%. That's right. I said 61%. 6 out of 10 Americans report they are planning a road trip or vacation in an RV in 2023. That's a rise of 13% from just last year, according to our friends over at Wakefield Research. Now, I'm going to take some of these numbers even deeper. On average, Americans spend 7.4 nights camping each and every year. And listen to this, almost 15 million, that's right, I said 15 million households went camping or RVing last year. That's some pretty cool stuff.
That is some amazing numbers. And even though Dan and I do a lot of research, these numbers continue to amaze me. And what I'd like right now is for our listeners to reach out, tell us about your camping experience. Are you getting ready to go? Have you gone? Are you full-time, part-time, sometime? What are you looking to do in 2023? Shout out on our social media. That's Instagram or Facebook at RV Life Podcast. I want to know. I want to hear from our listeners.
Let's start the conversation. Are you sitting on the couch thinking about it? Or are you going to get off the couch and actually do something about it? You know, our guest today, Carrie Price from Harvest Host, she's going to talk to us about Harvest Host and the unique camping experiences that they offer. And believe me, firsthand, Patty and I have experienced some of the most unique camping experiences out there.
Yes, and I can't wait. Carrie is going to talk about Harvest Host, Boondockers Welcome, how they're different, how they're similar, and some unique experiences. I cannot wait to hear of more things that I have never thought of.
You know, it's just incredible. For me, sitting at the end of a runway of an airport and camping there for the night and watching the planes land all evening, there is nothing more exciting than that to me. The only thing that I don't like about it is I can't fly my drone there because they don't let you fly on an airport. But other than that, it's just a great camping experience.
That was one of your favorite. There's definitely something for everybody.
I can't tell you how many times unfortunately for us, we have passed a llama farm. Alpaca farm.
Probably llamas too.
Too. But yeah, I'll tell you what, being able to stay with them and actually help out on the farm with them and just being around them, we've had the experience of the longhorn cattle and going out and just being in the field and just being with the longhorn cattle out there. And they accepted us as part of their own. It was great.
Now, let me just explain to our listeners, longhorn cattle literally have long horns that are 7-8 feet long. They're incredibly sharp. So I got to say, alpaca, longhorn cattle. Go say that 10 times fast. They are like puppies. They want to come up to you and say hi. And we actually let them.
I'm going to put a picture up on our Instagram page where one of the cows actually came. I was sitting in the middle of the field, and this cow had to come out and check out my camera. And I mean, it literally came right up and nosed right into me.
Well, that's because she was ready to give birth, which we actually got to sit and witness. Now, these unique experiences are not special for just Dan and I. They are part of the Harvest Hosts and Boondockers Welcome experience. And we're so excited to talk all about what they have to offer, the cool things that, we've never maybe heard of that Carrie's going to share with us. I can't wait.
Along with RV Trip Wizard, Boondockers Welcome / Harvest Host were memberships that we had before we started our journey. So RV Trip Wizard, something we literally don't move our RV an inch before we do that. So RV Trip Wizard was a membership that we had before we started RVing, and Boondockers Welcome / Harvest Host was a membership that we had before we started RVing. Then Thousand Trails is another membership. We should do a show just on memberships, but that's a membership that we got within the first month of us starting our journey.
Yes, and we should do a show on memberships. Again, shout out on social media. Tell us what you'd like to hear, some show information. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please reach out to us on social media. And I do have to say, we did have Boondockers Welcome and Harvest Host, and a Boondockers Welcome was the first place we started. When we picked up our RV in Colorado, we were traveling to Las Vegas. I got to say, I was nervous about this whole thing. RVing was brand new for me, and we got on Boondockers Welcome, found a place. The people were amazing, and they have become lifelong friends. And I think that is the greatest part of, and I say Boondockers Welcome and Harvest Host they are a little different. You could buy them together, but they're a little different. We'll hear more about that during the show, but could not be more grateful of spending that first night with Neil and Marianne. I'm not going to give their information. She has shared with me that they're pretty booked out. So if she wants to share information, I'll put it in the show notes, but she has told us that they're pretty booked out. It's a popular place.
They are booked out because they're the coolest people in the entire world. That's what they are.
Yes, they are.
And I'm sitting here and we're doing this show and I'm having all kinds of show ideas. Do you have rules that you RV by? We have rules that we RV by. And some of those rules are we don't drive in the snow. Except on our very first day, within our very first 4 hours, it started snowing as we were on the road on our way to Marianne and
Neil's, yeah.
Neil's, yes.
And so you're saying rules, and we broke the first rule, but we actually flew into Colorado from Las Vegas.
Colorado Springs,
beautiful, Colorado.
Beautiful
right?
country.
I don't know a whole lot because we didn't see a whole lot, but I definitely want to go back. But we arrived on the coldest day in 123 years. Now, I don't like the cold. I don't do cold. This is why we RV, so we can get away from the weather we don't want to be in. And it was really cold that day. And then, yes, when we started out within, an hour of travel, it started snowing.
Right.
It was crazy. And yet we stuck with this whole RVing thing, even with the craziness.
Yes, we did. It is a lifestyle that I truly am so happy that we went down this road and made this decision to do this. It was a difficult decision. Patty had never really camped or RV'd in her whole life. I did as a kid. And I'll tell you, we just love what we do. We love being able to bring you the RV Life podcast. We love bringing you our YouTube channel, Exploring Through Our Lens. And we literally just spend our time traveling around the country and finding the coolest places and showing them to you. And that's what our goal is to show you the world through the lens of our camera, exploring through our lens.
And our voice on RV Life Podcast.
And our voice on RV Life Podcast. So if you have rules, I'd like to know, please send me a message over there on the Facebook thing or over on the Instagram thing.
The thing.
Send me a message.
He does not do social media.
Yeah,
Those
I don't do it
things
real well.
he's speaking of, whether it's a private message or in the thread, just, shout out. I will answer any of the messages that we receive.
But do you have rules that you live by? We try to travel for no more than 3 hours, and we try to arrive by 3:00. Have you ever pulled into a campground in the nighttime? It is hard sometimes. It is really hard sometimes. And so we try to get there by 3:00. We try to travel no more than 3 hours driving. And we'll talk about more of those rules a little bit later. But if you have some rules, I want to know what your rules are too. We actually met somebody at Neil and Marianne's house that his rule was he traveled on Sunday. Every Sunday he was rolling somewhere. Okay. So we are having today's fun fact, and we're getting into our guest today, Carrie Price of Harvest Host. She is the brand manager, whatever a brand manager is.
Brand marketing manager.
Brand
she is.
marketing manager.
And
a brand marketing manager. So we're going to get into what her
Let's ask
job
her
is.
what that is. Yes.
And we're going to talk all about the new Campers Card and the CampScanner card that Harvest Host just came out, so you can get the most out of your Harvest Host membership. You're listening to the RV Life Podcast. I'm Dan Hunt with my incredible wife, Patty Hunt, and we'll be back right after this.
When traveling in your RV, how do you navigate? Do you use a paper map, a GPS, or do you use Google Maps? Our sponsor, RV Trip Wizard, has the solution, and it just works. Does dropping your motor coach off at the truck stop full of semi-trailers for new tires give you nightmares? Eliminate the unknown and get your new motorhome tires mounted while you watch at your campsite or wherever you are parked. Motorhometires.com takes care of the entire process for you. We come to you with your new tires, mount them, add balance beads, and we even dispose of your old tires. With motorhometires.com, you'll also enjoy great prices and new tires with guaranteed fresh date codes, and enjoy sweet dreams instead of truck stop nightmares with your friends at motorhometires.com.
The most important part of your RV is the roof. If your roof leaks, your trip and your RV get ruined. You can take it to a dealership or service center to be maintained at their expensive rates. Or you can maintain it yourself over a weekend for a fraction of the cost. Liquid Rubber RV roof products will keep you dry and leak-free. Visit shopliquidrubber.com/RVLife. Use coupon code RVLifePod15 to save 15%. That's shopliquidrubber.com/RVLife.
Inspired by France's passion business model, Harvest Host was founded in the U.S. in 2010 by Don and Kim Green. Joel Holland and his wife, Mary Ashley, bought Harvest Host in 2018 with the mission to help a lot of people live happier lives by getting them off the couch and out on the open road, facilitating this with this unique camping experience called Harvest Host. Today, we're talking to Carrie Price, the brand marketing manager at Harvest Host, whose job it is to make all of those incredible things happen, including getting you, the RV Life listener, off the couch and out on the road.
We are so grateful to welcome Carrie Price to the RV Life podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, Carrie, I've got to start out with a brand marketing manager. When anybody ever sees that, they look at it with cross-eyed and says, what the heck is that? So tell me about a brand marketing manager. What does that mean? And what do you do every day besides get on the RV Life podcast?
Yeah, it's the best part of my day. Thanks for asking me again. My parents don't know what I do either, so it's okay. So brand marketing was created at Harvest Host because we have a digital marketing section of the business. So they're the ones that do all the paid ads. They're what you see on Facebook. My department deals with making sure that the brand is out there, making sure that when the brand is out there, that it is represented appropriately. So the logo is included. We include the number of post locations, 4,000 plus locations. We say wineries, breweries, farms. So it's just making sure that the brand is represented appropriately. And so we deal with social media posts, emails. When you receive emails from us, that's my team, and partnerships, affiliates, advocates. That's all underneath my team. So brand marketing is a very wide way of saying marketing.
But you're not just a brand marketing person. You're an RVer yourself as well. Isn't that right?
It's true, yeah. Unfortunately, I have not been an RVer since 2020, but I was a full-time RVer for almost over 2 years, and traveled all the way from Florida to Alaska. Used Harvest Host, Boondockers, Welcome, Boondockers. I say it possibly every place you can stay as an RVer. We sold our RV in 2020 with the hopes to buy another one, and then, as you know, prices came up. It became harder to buy used rigs, so we waited. But we're buying one soon.
Okay, you can get out there on the road with us. Now, if you listened to last week's episode, we have decided instead of buying another new RV, or new to us RV, I would like to say, we are in the process right now of completely renovating our RV. So we put a new bed in, we put a residential refrigerator in, we've put a new floor in, we have brand new theater seating, new lighting throughout the entire unit. It feels like just yumminess on the inside. It is just a great RV now. And everybody that I talk to in the industry says, well, you know, that old girl you have, it's a 2002 Monaco. It was the queen of the road in 2002. Nice, fresh hardwood cabinets made out of real wood. So we're real excited about where we are with the RV. And, you know, I see you just in that process of getting back into the game. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you'll have all of that stuff done already by the time you buy an RV. Now, Explorer One, our RV, is always for sale too. So, you know, maybe we can do a trade of some sort.
Did you happen to paint the walls? Because we did that to ours and it was a big mistake.
No, nope. We decided not to do that. No, that's what we heard. And there is no painting being done. We're just dealing. Yeah.
Now, what was your thought when you got on the road RVing? You know, let's talk about your decision to get on the road and go to RVing. I assume it was you and your husband. Tell me about that conversation. Hey, honey, let's buy an RV and hit the road. How did that go for you?
It was wild. Neither one of us had RV before. We had never even been in an RV other than when we went to go look at them. But we were watching some sort of show about alternate house living, and these influencers that we actually still follow, they're called the Dangers. They converted their garage into a studio apartment and then converted their rig into a van that they could travel in. And they said, if you wait until one day, it'll never happen. Just go do it. And I looked at my husband and he looked at me and we said, let's do it. And it was like 6 months of looking for the right rig for us because we did sell all our stuff, quit our jobs, moved into an RV, really embraced the nomad lifestyle. And it was really amazing. And I recommend everybody do it at least once in their life. It's an amazing way to see this country.
Now, did you work for Harvest Host already when you started doing that? Or
No.
did you kind of find them along the way?
Yeah, I worked in an advertising agency, and it was a lot of work. I was working 60, 80 hours a week, so I decided I needed to change. I taught English to Chinese children over the internet while we went and traveled the country for the first 6 months. I was a member of Boondockers Welcome, and they posted a job for a customer service / marketing role. And I applied for it and actually got the job at Boondockers Welcome. So I worked at Boondockers Welcome as their one and only employee for over 2 years. And then when Harvest Host purchased them, Harvest Host gave me the opportunity to join the marketing team at Harvest Host. And that was about 2 years ago. So I can say I'm the one and only employee that has worked for both Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome, as well as been a member of both.
Now, for our listeners, we've got to clear some things up. When Dan and I joined, we joined Harvest Host, and then we also joined Boondockers Welcome. And this is going on 3 years probably, because we had joined even before we were full-time RVing, before we got the RV.
Before we purchased the RV, we had memberships.
Yeah. So can you just clarify? I know they've now been bought and they've merged. Clarify for our listeners, Harvest Host, Boondockers Welcome, how it works, and go, just to clear things up.
Yeah. So, I've been a member for probably over 5-6 years now, since I was a member before I started working for both of them. So they still act as separate brands and separate programs. You can be a member of one and not the other. So Harvest Host is where you're going to stay at local businesses, wineries, breweries, farms, attractions, museums. And then Boondockers Welcome is when you're going to stay at personal property. So somebody's driveway, somebody's piece of land on where their house is located, and you have that more community aspect, or you can meet the host. They can tell you what they do locally, the things that you should do. It's a really good way to meet other RVers, especially if you're a full-timer. It can get a little lonely, so I think Boondockers Welcome is a great way to meet people. And as a host, if you can no longer RV or you can no longer get out of the house as much as you want to, it's a way for the world to come to you. So I really think it's more community aspect. And you can combine them, so you can see them both on your app. So when you're looking for host locations, and there's over 8,000, you combine Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome. And I had both before they were combined, and now when they're combined, I feel like it's a great thing to have both, so you have options.
Yes, it's been amazing. Now, when we started, we flew to Colorado, picked up the RV. It was the coldest day in 123 years in Colorado. And now we're driving to get back to Las Vegas. And we had a Boondockers Welcome we were going to. And the weather was crazy. And the host started texting me. And being our first voyage, our first time out, the weather is crazy. When we got there, she said, I'm so sorry. I was texting you so much. And I said, it was the greatest, most helpful, and we have become really, really good friends with them. So that Boondockers Welcome is probably one of our best experiences. Now, for me, both of them is about unique camping experience. Can you give us one of those things that, a place that you've been to that has just been incredible?
Yeah. I've been to a lot of really incredible places, and there are a few on the Harvest Host side that stand out for me. There's one major one that stands out for me in Boondockers Welcome. It was fairly early on in us staying at Boondockers Welcome locations, and they messaged before we got there and said, hey, what might work for dinner? We're going to have you over for dinner. I was a little weirded out. But I did think it was a very kind gesture. And, we had been on the road for a while and hadn't had a full, home cooked meal, and you're talking lasagna, dessert, everything. And we go into their home, they invite neighbors over, and they're so kind. They served, lasagna and salad and dessert, little cream puffs that they did to swans. They were beautiful. I mean, this was years ago, and I still remember it. And they were the kindest people, and they still message me through my email. So that was a great Boondockers welcome experience, and really encompasses what it's like to stay at a Boondockers welcome location. On the harvester side, we went to a really neat farm in Canada that was a modern dairy farm, and they showed you what they do at a modern dairy farm, using machineries and things like that. And that was very unique. And we had been to a lot of farms, but I had not seen that side of farming. So I thought that was very interesting.
We have had such great experiences at different places. Patty told you about our first experience, and literally this was the first 5 hours that we had our RV, and we had a couple rules. When you buy an RV, you should live by some rules. And our first rule was that we were not going to drive in the snow. And our second rule was we were not going to drive after dark, at least until we got used to this 40-foot beast towing a car behind it. So those were our first two rules. And in that first 5 hours, we broke both of them, because when we showed up at Marianne's house in Albuquerque, New Mexico, it was snowing and it was dark. So we broke both of them on the very, very first maiden voyage for us. But the people that we have met, Neil and Marianne, who were the host for Boondockers Welcome in Albuquerque, New Mexico, have become close friends of ours. And we have been to their house now maybe 5 or 6 times. We went and we covered the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta a couple years back, and we stayed with them. Mm-hmm. We've actually met them at Quartzsite and camped with them and have traveled with them through other places. And
she's made us dinner a couple times.
Yes. I even cooked for the whole group during the Albuquerque, the Balloon Fiesta thing. There was probably 20 people there. They have a very large property, so they can accommodate a lot of people with full hookups. They have a sewer line running through, and they have 50 amp service for all the rigs, and they have their own rig back there as well. Just incredible people. Have become very close friends with them and their son, who is the fire marshal for Albuquerque and has a twin unit to ours, same year and everything.
That's interesting.
So when I got sick a couple years ago, Patty was able to pick up the phone and call them, and he could talk her getting the RV into the spot. So just some great experiences. Now in California, we also had an experience at a loofah farm. Who knew that loofahs actually grew on trees? So we went to a loofah farm. In Ohio, we stayed at a winery where they bottle their own wine, and they let me go in and actually help them bottle wine. So I got to work the brand new bottling machine that they have. Yeah. How great an experience is that you just get to go in and do these kind of things all over the country with some really cool, fun people.
It really has been an amazing experience. What would you say the best part of RVing is about? I know I have my answer, but what would you say in being in an RV? What's the best part?
Honestly, it's much the best and the hard part. It's like waking up in a new place every single day. So fun, you get to see new things, experience new things, learn new things every single day. Also, you lose a little, like being full time, you lose a little bit of that stability of being in the same location all the time. But for me, it's exciting to see our country in a different way and to meet people and realize that everybody in each state is a little different. Each state is a little different. I mean, you can almost tell when you cross those state lines that, oh, you're in a different state. It's very interesting. When we went to Canada and, got to meet people in Canada and Alaska, and it was just really great. I think it just broadens your horizon and makes you a more well-rounded, worldly person.
I totally agree. I love that, going to new places, seeing new people, new cultures, different foods. The foods, as soon as you cross over the state lines, seem to be different. And for me, not only the new places, but the people we've met. In 2.5 years, Dan and I have met so many incredible people that we now are friends with, lifelong friends. So that's another really incredible thing in my mind.
Yeah, and the kindness of people, Harvest Host, Boondockers Welcome, over 5,000 locations at U.S. farms and ranches and wineries. Carrie, what else do they got? Golf courses.
Golf courses. We recently discovered a new niche, drive-in theater, which is super fun. You can go in your RV and watch movies at a drive-in theater and then go to sleep. We have over 60 aviation-themed attractions, which is really cool. We're actually going to Oshkosh in Wisconsin to the air show. It's a really big air show because we realized we had so many, aviation-themed places. So it ranges. Alpaca and llama farms is one of our most popular ones because it is very interesting and unique. And you can get a lot of really cool flags in there. We have alpaca socks I would recommend for every hiker to have. They are so warm and they last forever.
It is so funny you talk about alpaca farms. Dan and I now have traveled across the country 3 times, put 30,000 miles on, right? We've been to more states than I could count. I have to add them up. We have put in to stay at an alpaca farm probably 5 times and have had to cancel. So we have yet to see an alpaca, and we definitely have to do that. One of my favorite things, now we're talking about Harvest Hosts, and that's usually an overnight, like you said, at a farm type, a winery, a brewery, all these really cool places. The Boondockers Welcome, I also love, as we talked about before, because these are places where you could get to know people. We pulled into a Boondockers Welcome in Kansas. We get there, just their driveway. I didn't even think we'd fit. It's a small driveway. But these people came out and greeted us, and they were just the most amazing people, especially because they said there was a tornado warning. And the people told us to just come on in the house down into the tornado shelter if it happened. I don't do tornadoes. I'm from Philadelphia. So just there's that balance between them. And the Boondockers Welcome now, you can usually stay a little longer as well, correct? Can you tell us a little more about it?
Yeah, it's a great way to see a local community, and what a great way to do it when you have a guide that has lived there for maybe their whole lives or some amount of years. That they are the best ones to ask about. Like, I'm only here for a certain amount of days. What should I see? And most host locations will have it even on their profile, and they love talking about it. But it's a great way to see the area, and sometimes just a great respite in between your locations. There's a unique experience at Boondockers Welcome too. I mean, in Alaska, I was at a Boondockers Welcome location. They took me on an ATV ride around their property in Alaska. It was amazing, and you would never get that, just staying and boondocking or anything like that. I think it also offers you some safety and security. You are allowed to stay there. So it's nice to know that you have that space. Yes, you can stay up to 5 days. It depends on the host location.
Right. So we've gone on, and just to let people know, when you go on to the Harvest Host Boondockers Welcome site, if you have both, like Dan and I do, we could see all the different locations. And then when we click on them, it'll tell whether we can stay for a night or more. So just for people who haven't used the website is easy to navigate. It's incredible. You pick an area and little dots come up all over the map. So I love that there are times, we want to stay for 3 days. We were in Seattle and they let us stay for 5 or 6 days. We were doing an event. We messaged them and said, hey, we'll be at the Seattle RV event. Can we stay? No problem. So I love that flexibility of it. I love being able to navigate on the website, all these different things. And I guess the best thing I could say about it is unique. I mean, the places are just I would never have thought about some of these places to go stay at when I was thinking about RVing. So
yeah,
it's really incredible.
We pulled into a Harvest Host in Tennessee, and the people there were just great. I mean, he just an incredible. He's a baker. He specializes in sourdough, and we love sourdough and have our own sourdough starter. So we, gifted him some of our sourdough starter. But we stayed on the farm and met all his horses and dogs and got some fresh eggs from his ranch. And then he actually introduced us to his brother who lives further up in Tennessee, closer to Nashville. And we went to his brother's house the next day. His brother has since become a Harvest Host because we came and stayed with his brother at another ranch and just loved it. And those people offered to take us to church on Sunday to their what they called a cowboy church, which I'd never heard of. Cowboy church. Want to come to cowboy church with us? But we went horseback riding there and just had a great time. Their dogs just adopted us, came right into our RV like they lived there. And we just really, really enjoyed it. And they have since become a Harvest Host location. So it's just meeting those people and, like you say, getting to do those local things, going to cowboy church. I mean, that's like a bucket list item. If you haven't ever done it, you need to once, because it's just full of music and guitars and singing, and just everybody is so open. And then after church, everybody came back to their house and they did a great big barbecue. It was just like going home again and again. And every night you're going to a new home where you're really welcomed in. I have to strongly, strongly recommend Harvest Host to anybody that's listening to the RV Life podcast. Patty, I think you even have a code that you're going to put in the show notes and people get 15% off.
We do. But now, Carrie, you said something about something special for our listeners.
Yeah, we would love to offer 20% off, which is higher than the discount that you see on the website. So that's for Harvest Host Classic. That's what we call Harvest Host Just Classic. And then once you get into Harvest Host, you can upgrade to Boondockers Welcome. There's a special discount for you there, too. We'll be offering 20% off, and we'll provide the code to Carrie, and they'll put it in the description.
Thank you so much. Yes, all that information will be in the show notes for you. We appreciate it, Carrie.
Now, when we're talking about stuff that we love, like Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome, we kind of go on and on. So we're running on and on. It's time to take a break. But after the break, Harvest Host is introducing a couple new things. One thing is called CampScanner, and there's a CampersCard, and how you can get the most out of your Harvest Host or Boondockers Welcome membership. We're going to talk about all of that after the break.
When traveling in your RV, how do you navigate? Do you use a paper map, a GPS, or do you use Google Maps? Our sponsor, RV Trip Wizard, has the solution, and it just works.
It just works. We literally do not move our RV without first consulting RV Trip Wizard. Another one of those memberships, like Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome, that we bought before we even had the RV. So these things were out there while we were doing research of what we were going to do and how we were going to do it. We bought these programs before we even had the RV. Now, with Carrie, she put together a special discount code for RV Life listeners. And we're just really happy that we can give you the discount for something that we love the way we love. Now, Carrie, you came out with 2 new products, a CampersCard and CampScanner. What is CampScanner? Let's talk about each of these brand new products and what are they and how do I get them?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Harvest has been very busy this year. Our goal is still to get people off the couch and on the road. And so we're constantly looking for ways to expand on that. Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome may not be for everyone. Some people do rely on the hookup, and that is fine. That's your style of camping. So we created CampersCard. CampersCard is a campground discount and perks program. This is a special project that Joel Holland, our CEO, who purchased Harvest Host years ago, wanted to create a long time ago, and we just now started it. So you can get discounts all the way up to 50%, or you can get 10% off your entire stay. Sometimes perks include free firewood, free e-bike rental, things like that. There's over 800 campground locations, and we are adding more all the time, every day. So it is a great way to get in, and get to experience some of those discounts at some really high quality campgrounds. That was the one thing we were really specific about, is making sure that these campgrounds are unique and high quality. So, similar to Harvest Host having those unique experiences. CampScanner is completely different. It's scanning for availability at national parks, national forests, and other campgrounds. So it can be very hard to get national park reservations. I have personally stayed up past midnight to try to get a campground a year in advance for, I think it was the Florida Keys National Park. And I didn't get it still. It was disappointing. So we came up with CampScanner, which you put in the dates you want to go, where you want to go, what type of site you want, and you set your scan. And the scan will notify you when an availability comes up. Cancellations happen all the time, and those companies don't let you know when they happen. So we thought it was a really great idea to have that. And then I've set up scans for Memorial Day weekend at Grand Canyon, and I got them. It was last minute, but I got it. I got some for Yosemite for Memorial Day weekend. So I'm seeing that it really works, and it's very exciting. So people can actually get into these campgrounds and experience these beautiful national parks we have.
I am super excited. We haven't used CampScanner yet. We were waiting to talk to you. This for us, so Dan and I like to plan, and we do a lot with Thousand Trails. Harvest Host Boondockers Welcome is our next places we look to stay. And we have all these plans, and then they get canceled, and here we are last minute. CampScanner sounds amazing for people like us who can do last minute, kind of shift gears. So I cannot wait to get a hold of that and start putting some things in that we want to do. That sounds awesome. Now, the CampersCard, I started to look at it, and then I realized I was in this, looking at so many different things. That's exciting, because looking at these campgrounds and being able to get a discount or something special, these just make this great overall picture for camping. And again, unique is really important for us. Our thing is, and I'm just going to say this, our whole thing is, the advice we give is enjoy the journey. It's about the journey. And I think Harvest Host really, really supports that. And we could stop somewhere that's unique. I'm going to just switch gears a little bit. What's advice you'd give for people that are RVing? Putting you on the spot here.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with you. The journey is all part of it, including the planning, which can be a little overwhelming sometimes. We went from Florida to Alaska and back, and it was really overwhelming. And that's territory, especially Alaska, that a lot of people have done, but there's a ton of information out there about it. But I think that besides enjoying the journey, it's pushing yourself. We didn't do that for the first 6 months that we were on the road because we were scared to. It is not that This was several years ago too. And so rigs nowadays are even made more towards, for boondocking with solar panels and batteries and things like that. But once we got to that point that we pushed ourselves, we were addicted. We loved boondocking. We loved seeing how long we could stretch our tanks and our supplies. We loved being in the middle of the woods right outside of national parks. So I would suggest that you just try to push yourself in your rig as much as you possibly can so that you can see how much you can do in it, because it really does make it fun.
That's funny you say push yourself on our last podcast. So podcast number 33, episode 33, we talked about getting out of your comfort zone. So go back and listen to that. It sounds like that's what you're talking about. I know that's what it was for us. I love that. Stretch yourself, get out there, experience new things. I just love that. And I love that Harvest Host, Boondockers Welcome, and now these two new products, CampScanner and CampersCard, can help people do that.
Now, you talked about CampersCard and quality RV parks. And there is quite a despair in the type of RV parks that are out there. We've been in some very, very nice parks, and we've been in some parks that are, maybe on day 2, it's time to just move on. You actually are having people go out and check out these campgrounds that the CampersCard is accepted at?
Yeah. So we have people who recruit the campgrounds, so they call them, and they're looking for campgrounds that fit that category, being unique. And so before we even reach out, that's what we're doing. But several of us have stayed at campgrounds. Actually, a coworker of mine has stayed at a campground, a CampersCard campground that's right outside of Joshua Tree. So she's been to a few of them, and she sent us pictures, and so we can see, how beautiful they are.
That is great. You also talked about e-bikes, and some of your CampersCard campgrounds offer free e-bike rental. One of our sponsors here at the RV Life podcast is the Kraken Adventure Bikes, and Patty and I have e-bikes, and they have changed our lives. If you have not ridden an e-bike, you need to find one and get on and just go, because they are the greatest things since apple pie. We love our e-bikes. We love going into campgrounds and just checking out everything that campground has to offer. And one thing that I am starting to notice at campgrounds that maybe I'm showing my age, but when I was a kid, there were all kinds of activities at campgrounds. There was, nighttime group fires and, singing or storytelling around the campfire or bingo or something. I'm noticing that community feel is coming back to the campgrounds. And, one of the things that we wanted to talk about here is how you can get the most out of your Harvest Host or Boondockers Welcome membership. And one of the things that I'm going to say is get involved. Go to bingo and meet people, because some of the funnest people that you will ever meet, I have met at some of these events. But get out there and get involved. Do something. There is more to life than a video game or a television. And that's what I think, is behind Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome. That's the thought process that Joel and his wife have brought, getting people off the couch and out on the road and doing things. It's just so important. That's what we really push over on our YouTube channel, Exploring Through Our Lens, and here on the RV Life podcast. So it's just so important. Get out there and do things. And with tools like the CampScanner and the CampersCard, you can do it. It's not that hard. We do it all the time. We spent the entire winter in Florida this year, and we had to change every reservation that we had because our speaking engagements kept getting changed and moved around. So we had to go to Orlando, then we had to go back to Tampa, then we had to go back to Orlando. And we had to change those reservations at the last minute. We were able to do it and still get into good campgrounds. So persistence, you can, people are overbooking. They're booking, like you say, a year in advance. And I don't know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, much less a year from now. So there's a really good chance that if I book something a year out, that's going to get canceled between now and then. But if you are making some plans, some of those plans should be to go to the Hershey RV show. Now, I know you guys have a booth there and RV Life has a booth there. Patty and I are the featured speakers there. So you might want to come and learn something. We're going to be talking about RV trip planning and showing you how to plan your trips out and how to do things properly and RV GPS safe. So that's really, really important as well. So that is going to be at the Hershey show. Now, the RV Life podcast are also hosting an event there that is going to be the event of the year. You want to get your tickets now. It's only $15 per person for the tickets. Kids under 12, they're free. So bring them along. And we'd love to have you at this event. It will be the event of the season. We're even trying to talk Harvest Host into coming out and co-sponsoring that thing with us, but we haven't cut that deal yet. But that's okay. This is going to be the event of the year. There's going to be a lot of giveaways. We have an e-bike. We were talking about e-bikes earlier. We're giving away a Kraken Adventure bicycle. So you want to get out to this event. Now, tickets are available. They just became available, and they became available to RV Life podcast listeners first. There is limited seating. This event will sell out. So you do not want to miss this event.
I know you get excited about the event. We're going to take a break, right? And then get into all of the details. I know you get excited. We are so grateful for Carrie to be on with us. Now, you're going to stay on for the next part of the show so that you could help us with the question that we get each week. And we really appreciate the information. I'm sure we could talk for a long time.
And we'll be back and talk some more with Carrie Price, the brand marketing manager, whatever that is, for Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome. We'll be back right after this.
Does dropping your motor coach off at the truck stop full of semi-trailers for new tires give you nightmares? Eliminate the unknown and get your new motorhome tires mounted while you watch at your campsite or wherever you are parked. Motorhometires.com takes care of the entire process for you. We come to you with your new tires, mount them at balance beads, and we even dispose of your old tires. With motorhometires.com, you'll also enjoy great prices and new tires with guaranteed fresh date codes, and enjoy sweet dreams instead of truck stop nightmares with your friends at motorhometires.com.
Protecting your RV investment means being ready for anything. An extended RV warranty from Wholesale Warranties is the best way to make sure that if an RV failure happens, you can afford to get back to enjoying the RV life as soon as possible. RV warranties are available for motorhomes, fifth wheels, and travel trailers, new and used, across the U.S. Visit wholesalewarranties.com for a free personalized RV warranty quote today and hit the road with peace of mind tomorrow.
Wow, we're so excited to have Carrie Price on from Harvest Host. And she said she'd stay with us for this segment. We are really super excited about Hershey, as you hear Dan talk about. He is so excited. But Carrie, people from Harvest Host will be there, correct?
Yes, that is correct. They will be there at Hershey the full week. We'll have our own booth. We'll be representing Harvest Host, so you should be able to see our rig, our display, our booth somewhere in Hershey. So it's our first time. We went to Hershey several years ago. We did not have a booth, so this is our first time having a booth at Hershey.
Okay, so now Harvest Host, when you say Harvest Host, they could ask questions about Boondockers Welcome, CampScanner, CampersCard, all of that. People need to come up and say hi to whoever's going to be there. Dan and I will definitely come say hi. Now, for those of you, the Hershey event it does start September 13th to the 17th. Our event, the RV Life Live event, we'd like to invite the people that will be there from Harvest Host to that event. It's from 6 to 10 at night. It's going to be amazing. And as you heard Dan get excited, we're going to have giveaways of over $2,000 in giveaways. It only costs $15 a person. There's food, there's drinks, there's live entertainment from border hookups. As you could hear, we're excited. Dan and I will be hosting. You got to sign up because it's going to sell out. So you can meet people from Harvest Host, you can meet us, and a bunch of other great RVers. Okay, let's go on. We've done a lot about Hershey.
That sound means it's time for Pat Buchanan and the RV Life Pro Tip of the Week.
As RVers, we're always looking to explore, so we don't often go home the same way we came, if we can help it. Sometimes, however, it's helpful just to plot the fastest way home or simply go back the way we came. In these cases, the round trip options in RV Life Trip Wizard is a handy tool to make your return trip planning more efficient. Using the round trip options, you can mirror your stops back to your starting point or find the most direct route back home. Take a look at the round trip options feature and see if it's right for you. For RV Life, I'm Pat Buchanan.
Thank you, Patrick, for another great tip. And I think we say this every week. We always learn something from these pro tips because RV Trip Wizard is just amazing and we don't go anywhere without it. But now, should we talk about the giveaway we've got going on?
It's June giveaway month and it's my birthday, so I get presents. That means you get presents too. We are giving away a great glamping package from Lido Luxury in the outdoors. Carol and her team have put together tablecloths and lighting and all kinds of stuff. This dog collar is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. It goes around your dog's neck.
Yes,
and it
that's
lights up.
Usually where collars go. We don't even have a dog. Do you have a dog, Carrie? Do you travel with a dog?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So this
And a
thing
cat.
lights up. And a cat. Okay. Can you put a collar on the cat? Will he let you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I have to get her to make smaller collars for cats. I'm going to tell Carol about that.
Yeah.
But we have this collar and leash, and they're just amazing. So we are very grateful to Lido Luxury in the outdoors for this. It's a $400+ giveaway. Again, the details will be in the show notes for you to enter to win.
Free. It's free.
It is free. But I got to say, I'm still so excited about the membership, the Harvest Host, Boondockers Welcome. I can't tell you how many times it has really sort of saved us. We are bouncing from one campground to another. We don't want to drive so far. Usually places want 24 hours notice before you book with them. But there have been times they'll say, just send us a message. And I do. And I say, look, we're kind of stuck. We've got to stop. And the host, when they can, now sometimes they're booked, they have just, been like, sure, come on in. We're happy to accommodate. So, it's just been an amazing experience for us.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a great experience for me. It's been a great experience as an RVer, and then to get to work here, it's such a passion of mine that I have to bring these unique experiences to RVers. And we'd love for every RVer to try Harvest Host out as well as Boondockers Welcome. I think it can really broaden your horizons of what type of camping is out there for RVers. It does not have to be just from one campground together, although campgrounds are great too. There's some great locations with some great amenities, especially if you have children, and some, interesting experiences at campgrounds too. But I think what Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome, as well as these other products do, is just allow RVers to experience something new.
Carrie, I think we lost you there for a second, but let's get back into some conversation about how I can get more out of my Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome membership. Do you have some suggestions for our listeners on how they can get more out of their membership? First of all, with this new CampersCard and CampScanner, I think that's going to get them a lot more out of their membership. But what other suggestions do you have, Carrie, to get for people to get more out of their membership?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just saying this because I work for them, but I do think combining Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome is the way to go. I did that before I even worked for either of the companies, and now that they're together and you can see it under one app. I should also mention that the app now allows you the ability to see cell phone coverage as well as wind and certain weather. That would have been amazing for me. I was working remotely, so I relied on the cell phone coverage. I had to look at the Verizon overlay map. So having this all in one app is definitely helpful. But so I think getting most out of it is combining them. But then, when you're looking for places to go, we built our itinerary around Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome locations. We were not afraid to go a little bit off the beaten path to go to these host locations. And I think that is the best way to get your bang for your buck is just take a little detour. You'll be amazed at what you will see. You will never have seen it if you hadn't done that. And I think it really makes your RV trip more unique.
I totally agree. And I don't work for the company. Again, Dan and I had Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome. And when we went that first time in our RV, that's all I needed. It was just such a safe place. It was so encouraging. She said, come on in, I'll make dinner. It was, I can't ever be without it. I can't even say enough about it because we've had so many of those type of experiences. We've had so many unique experiences. Dan and I started thinking about what was the coolest place you feel like we've been to. And I had other cool places, and I can't even narrow it down. It is definitely part of the experience.
It's been part of our experience. And, I know it's not in your policy, but last minute stuff, we have literally been driving down I-95 and had a change of plans. Patty's mom was rushed to the hospital. And I needed to take Patty to the airport, but I needed to go with the RV and stay somewhere. And here we are, we're driving down 95 and we're looking for places. And we found a place while we're driving down 95 to go that day. And I know that that's kind of outside of the policies of Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome. They kind of want you to sign up for it and give them a couple days notice before you get in there. But we can't say enough. I don't know if we would be able to do some of the things that we do without Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome. And, of course, Thousand Trails for us.
Without a doubt. And we definitely have to get to an alpaca farm. That is on our
I know, it's on our list.
And get socks, as Carrie said. Socks.
Our locations do allow same-day requests. And when you go onto the app or the website, you'll be able to see that location allows same-day requests. So we always encourage people to do that. One of the things people love about Harvest Host is being safe, easy, and convenient. And easy is that last-minute decision. It's RV life. It happens.
Yes.
Having that flexibility is what makes, I think, both of the programs very helpful.
And to coin a phrase, it's our current thought. Our current thought is we're going to go from here to here to here. And then something happens, that darn phone rings and changes everything.
Yeah.
And it just happens that way. Uh-oh, there's that horn. It means it's time for the question of the week. And our question this week is from Facebook. And Patty, who brought us our question of the week this week?
Our question is from Tamari, and I hope I'm saying it right. Names are not my thing. Looks like Tamari S. from Virginia Beach, and she said, can I stay at places like Walmart and Cracker Barrel? And if so, what do I need to know? And Carrie said she'd stay on, so we're going to let you take the lead on the answer here.
Yeah,
first of all, your answer is yes. You can stay at Walmart's and Cracker Barrels.
Yes, you can.
You do need to call up front and let them know you're coming.
Yeah.
But Carrie, you take it from there.
Yeah. And Cabela's, I'd like to add Cabela's for that. There are several Cabela's locations. Yeah.
Good one.
The one at Anchorage that you paid a fee, like $5 dumping fee, so you can dump right there on site. So, and they're really great. So Cabela's, Walmart, Cracker Barrel, I've stayed at them all. You definitely can. Dan's right. You should ask for permission. Go in, ask to see if you can speak to a manager, or call them up beforehand, ask if you can speak to a manager. You'll usually tell at Walmart, they'll have signs that say that city ordinances that do not allow you to park on them. So you'll sometimes, right when you pull in, I'll say no overnight parking, and that's a city ordinance. And Cracker Barrel is saying. But the one advice I would give is to make sure that you place in the business. Eat breakfast at Cracker Barrel. It's amazing. You get to wake up and eat breakfast at Cracker Barrel after staying the night there. And Cracker Barrels are typically pretty quiet too. Walmart, go in and get your supplies. Maybe your frozen dinner for the night or something like that. But you want to be able to continue doing that, and to be able to continue doing that, RVers need to show their respect for the business.
And, that respect goes further than just buying something there. But I always say, leave the area that you're camping in better than when you've pulled up, at least the way it was when you pulled up. A Walmart parking lot or a Cracker Barrel, or like Carrie says, a Cabela's, they are not campgrounds. So, to get out there and to lay your carpet out and set up your grill and cook your dinner, that's kind of a slap in the face to a Cracker Barrel that you're cooking your dinner outside where they cook your dinner for you.
Right. I guess the best rule of thumb is, like Dan said, it's not a campsite. It is an overnight parking lot. So, stay confined to the space. Usually you don't even have space or shouldn't even put your slide out. It's someplace to lay your head down, go to sleep, get up in the morning and get out. And I hate to say it that way. And, the problem is you do see people that are camping there, and that's where Cracker Barrel or Walmart or Cabela's is going to say no more. So I don't know if it's just people don't know. So I'm hoping by sharing the information is helpful. And certainly to Mary, this is a great question, and she's just looking to find out. Just stay in your spot, park, leave, and leave it better than you found it.
Yes. And Walmart's, Cracker Barrels. Now, we have not stayed at Cabela's yet. We will soon, though. You had to open your mouth there, Carrie. You're in trouble now. But Walmart and Cracker Barrel, they're a godsend sometimes. There's times where, it's just too far to get to the next spot, and you can pull into a Cracker Barrel and have dinner and then have breakfast in the morning. And it is just wonderful. When I was driving up here from Florida, Patty had flown up to be with her mom. And so I was solo driving up I-95 from Tampa all the way up to Washington, D.C. But pulling into a Cracker Barrel where I don't have to unhook the car, I can just pull into that great big long spot that they have in the back for you. It was really a godsend for me to be able to do that. And, another unique experience that I'm just going to put a shout out that I did stay at on the way up, it's up off of I-95, was something called a Mega Wash. And they are a Harvest Host location where they actually washed my RV and my tow car, went through the car wash together. And they washed them both. And it was only like $25 to wash the vehicle, which is great. I mean,
the car, I got
the RV.
The RV was like $79.
Okay, the RV was $79. Another $20 for the car.
Right.
But then you could stay overnight right there, and they had a dump, they had water, they had power. It was wonderful. If you are a Harvest Host member and you see a Mega Wash as a place to stay, especially if it's I think it was Virginia. I actually think it was in Virginia.
It was. Yep.
Right off 95 coming up northbound. It just was, a couple miles off the road, but we stayed at that Mega Wash and just loved it. The guys there were incredible. They helped me out with a couple things that I needed to get done. And I can't say enough about being able to pull off I-95, get my RV washed and cleaned, and then get up in the morning and come on up the rest of the way into Virginia. It was great.
And they did a really great job. They did a super great job. Again, that's a Harvest Host location. Yeah. We were able to switch dates at the last minute. I called the guy. So that was awesome. But we've done a lot on this show. We talked about the Hershey event. That information will be in the show notes. Make sure you check out and go visit with Carrie when you're there. We talked about the giveaway. That'll be in the show notes. Now for us, you can reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook at RV Life Podcast. How can people reach out, Carrie, for you? I don't know, not necessarily personally, but where can people go?
Yeah. So for Harvest Host, you can go to harvesthost.com. There's a little chat bubble at the bottom. You can ask a question and an article will pop up, or you can actually message back and forth with a customer service team member. That goes the same for CampersCard. It's camperscard.com, as well as CampScanner.com. And BoondockersWelcome.com. So pretty easy to find all of those. You can also find them, looking for in Google. But each one of them has a little bubble at the bottom where you can ask questions, and it's really easy to find your answer.
And again, all of that will be in the show notes.
All of that will be in the show notes. So, Carrie, thank you so much. We love Boondockers Welcome. We love Harvest Host. We love Walmarts and Cracker Barrels, and now Carabellas as well. Mm-hmm. All your fault. That's just about it for this week. Again, I want to thank you for being such a wonderful guest. We did have the technical difficulties yesterday that we couldn't get the show done.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. I love talking about RV life all day. So, and especially love it when you guys talk about Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome as much as you do.
Yes.
So really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, we love Harvest Host and we love Boondockers Welcome. It is a way of life for us. You're listening to the RV Life Podcast. We are in Manassas, Virginia, which is right outside of Washington, D.C.
Yes.
And it is just a wonderful, wonderful place. I'm Dan Hunt, saying have a great rest of today.
And an even better day tomorrow.